Dr. Ruth, welcome to Israel. It's very nice to have you here again in the Tomorrow Conference. I think this is number 3 that you are here.
And next year will be number 4.
And in 2 years will be number 5, etc., etc. Dr. Ruth and I decided to expand the topic a little bit. Instead of talking about the future of couplehood, we decided to discuss the future of civilization, right?
Whatever you say.
Whatever I say. So maybe we will start, Dr. Ruth, by you telling us in short about your career and your relations to this very special country.
You want me to start 84 years ago, or you want me to start...
84? You're not 84, you're 34.
No, I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to be here with Yossi. Most people know I was born in Frankfurt, and I was during World War II in an orphanage in Switzerland, came here in 45, and Yossi, I have to tell you, in the Haganah, I was a sniper. So be careful about the questions that you're going to ask me. I can still put 5 bullets in the red circle. I still hope I can throw hand grenades. And in Jerusalem, on my 20th birthday, I was very badly wounded. And I'm fortunate, Hadassah was here, the doctors were brilliant. I can dance the whole night when I find a partner. And I was a good skier. So for me, it's very important. I'm here every single year, and I'm very moved to be here.
And how is your Hebrew?
And my Hebrew is pretty good. I learn every year something new. I learned Chavlas, Chaval al Azman. Before that, I learned Chick-Chack. So every time I try to pick up something new. I did go today, before we talk about the topic, I did go today to the Herzl Museum, and I have to say that it was fabulous. All of you, whoever wants to have good sex for the rest of your life, after the conference, go to visit the Herzl Museum.
That's a very interesting formula. By the way, what is the difference? I wonder what Herzl would say about this relationship. Can you tell us what is the difference between Achla and Sababa? Because I really cannot figure it out.
No, but you will tell this audience, Nechbat.
Dr. Ruth, new media. New media, Google, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, all of these things. Did you hear about these things? Are you familiar with it?
Yossi, what a question. Anybody like me who just taught 6 years Yale, 6 years Princeton, next spring Columbia, I am not computer literate, but I know what that new media of yours can do. I have Twitter, 56,721 followers on Twitter. I talk.
That's amazing.
I have YouTube.
What do you have on YouTube?
I have on YouTube, I realized, because you taught me, that young people are not going to listen and watch half-hour programs. So what I do is those questions that I do get about relationships and about specific on the topic that I talk about, I cut those half-hour programs into small segments, question and answer, and that's on YouTube. And so I know how important it is, but I also know, Yossi, I see that in the twinkle in your eye. I have to tell you, with all of that new media, I am worried that the relationships between people is going to suffer. You have heard me say that when I want to talk to you, I want to touch you. They put our chairs too far. I know your wife is here. Touch me again. I'm a widow, so I can do that. But what I know is that we have no choice, that we have to be in that new media, and we have to teach and talk about relationships and the importance, and that everybody has to learn about the media.
So let me ask you some specifics, if I may. New media. New media, it seems to me not from my experience, but what I hear and I observe, that it's easier today to date. You can do it, if you are shy, you have a chance to be a little bit anonymous. The reach is bigger, but sometimes people are not using their real identities. Sometimes it's easier to date, but then you do the relationship via an electronic equipment. This thing can replace dating a girl and going with her into a drive-in cinema and spending the evening there.
God forbid. Chas v'chalila. Yossi, I am all for people. It's important for everybody to find a significant other. And if they can use the media to find somebody, wonderful. But people have to be careful. Never, if you were single, let's say, if you talk to somebody, and looking at you, I would say that you want to talk to somebody, maybe 16 years old. I would worry, because I would worry if somebody makes a date in a secluded place with somebody that they don't really know enough about. Yes, you can talk to somebody, but people have to be very careful, because scare techniques don't work. But in this area of your expertise, we have to worry about people meeting if they don't know whom they are going to meet.
Now, you said, I'm not telling any secret, that you are 84 years old, right? You are 84.
Say it loud, it's all right, I'm not embarrassed.
No, why should you be embarrassed? I wish at 84
I'm
I will look...
I'm not shrinking.
How does she look? And you develop understanding of new media, you develop understanding of the new ways of communication, the social tools, etc. It's amazing that you have 56,721
You listen very carefully.
followers of Twitter. In your age group, in my age group, what is the percentage of people which can brag about having this kind of accomplishments like you?
Well, first of all, I'm very fortunate because I'm healthy. And the other thing is, for this audience, I have to tell you that because I was in an orphanage, there is no question that I knew that by my having survived, where 1.5 million other Jewish children did not, I have an obligation to make l'tikkun olam. I have an obligation to do something in this world. But with my accent, I never knew that I would talk about sex from morning till night. I thought I'd be a kindergarten teacher, I'll do something in education. But as it happened, I'm very happy with my profession.
Good. By the way, what kind of telephone are you using?
I'm using an iPhone, but I don't know how to retrieve messages, but I know how to talk. I talk from morning till night.
Did you consider to try Android?
The what?
Android?
What is that?
Eric, you have a job to do. Eric, you are coming later on the program. You have a job to do, I think. He will explain it to you.
Okay, I listen very carefully.
But you are using iPhone, and you are getting along with it good. You make me envy, you know, you really make me envy. What are your plans for the rest of the year, Dr. Ruth?
Okay, I'm so glad you asked that.
What do you mean you're so glad? You told me to ask it to you.
As it turns out, when I came to the United States, they told me to take speech lessons to lose my accent. At the time, I made $1 an hour. I went for my doctorate. I had no time and no money. Right now, the producers in the States are paying for an actress, Deborah Jo Rapp, who is playing me. They are paying for her with a speech coach to learn my accent. And here in Jerusalem, I have to tell you, that I'm blushing a little bit. That's why I'm wearing a red blouse. The play is called Dr. Ruth All the Way. So the other plan is that I'm going to teach a graduate course about family life. I use the documentaries that I did about the Druze, about the Ethiopian, about a whole bunch of the Bedouins, and many of those documentaries I did with Michael. And believe me, I've never seen him dressed the way he's dressed today. When we go out in the field, he wears jeans. So I'm using those films to show what is happening to minorities. It's always about family life, not necessarily about sex life, but about the family life, and to show what is happening with these groups in a place like Israel, with so many different groups.
So we have for the rest of the year a show, 4 documentaries. I heard
wine. Okay, there's going to be a wine, and it's called Vin d'Amour. See if they can say Vin d'Amour.
Can you say Vin d'Amour?
And it's less alcohol, because I say to a couple, everybody has a lot of stress. And when you get home, I tell them, take a little bit of wine. Don't drink too much. Otherwise, she falls asleep and he can't perform. So we are coming out with a wine, 6% of alcohol, so that message, it says, less is more, and that this message gets out there, relax, enjoy, rejoice, that you found a person to have a relationship with. Close that computer. Don't watch the television, but talk to each other.
Close the computer, go to see a show, and when you come from the show, drink a wine.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Right, not too much.
Okay, what else?
And what else? On a serious note...
what do you mean on serious note? The whole thing is
because
serious.
I'm a little bit fun. Some of it is fun, because as you know, in the Jewish tradition it says, in the Midrash, a lesson taught with humor is a lesson retained. And you use that at your lectures, and I use it. So
but in Jewish life, you know, the highest joy is to be immersed in all sufferings.
Never mind the suffering. I leave that to others, but I'm doing a book about it. My next book is for people who take care of Alzheimer and dementia patients. It's not for the patients. It's for those caretakers, the family or paid caretakers, in order to give them advice what to do to keep their morale up, not to get depressed, not to run out of steam, and that's coming out in November.
And there is another book.
And?
There is another book, right?
The last book I did is called Sexually Speaking, what every woman needs to know about sexual health with a gynecologist. And across the United States and even in Israel, there is no question that women have heard people like me, I'm not the only one, there are many other people talk about that subject, that a woman has to take the responsibility for her sexual satisfaction. Yossi, even the best lover, even one trained by me, can't bring her to sexual satisfaction if she doesn't teach him what to do. You agree?
I'm speechless. Ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking about tomorrow. Usually when you get an 84 years old person on a stage to speak of tomorrow, he's usually speaking what he accomplished in the past. And here you see a very young 84 years lady which have programs for this year. What are you going to do in the next 10 years, tell me?
Hopefully more teaching. What we need more is more research. Probably more teaching, but in any case, not to stay home and complain, but to be out there, like you all are here, to do something productive.
let's go back to new media. Okay, really in the 20th century, the habits, the ethics of courting, you know, of dating, of spending time together, was totally changed. You know, civilization, since its beginning, was able to develop tools, you know, to build things, to grow things, to pump water, to build building, to do war, but very little tools have been developed through the ages to enhance your social life. It started maybe with letters and telephones, but not much more. And here in the last 15 years, we see all of a sudden a burst of tools to enhance your social life, to enhance your reach, to keep in touch, to attend, to be attentive, etc. How do you think, what will be the long-term effect of all these new tools on social life of people?
Yossi, for people who are alone, for people who are separated, divorced, for people who are widows or widowers, I do believe that we all have to teach them to use that new media in order to give them an ability to form new relationships. But at the same time to say, be careful. At the same time to say, you have to know about the danger of some of those things. But there is no question that in terms of that new media, it's easier for people to make that first step to meet somebody. And hopefully in my area of competence, I hope that it will be easier to take care of those problems in the personal, interpersonal relationships and also in the sexual area. And I think that by talking about that, we take away some of the stigma that it's not...
Talking is easy. I can testify to that.
And I think that this is what helps when we can tell people, in order to make new friends, use that new media that you are an expert in.
Question, are you familiar with the Israeli high-tech scene? To what extent you are familiar with what's going on in the high-tech, in internet, etc.? Do you follow it or not much?
No, I'm not computer literate, but I know how to talk. But I know that you are going to tell me now what is new. What's new?
I don't want to tell you what's new, but I need your expert advice on an issue which is really cut the Israeli community of developers and people who are involved in high-tech to two. And this is the issue. There are some people that say that these entrepreneurs, young guys which create companies, are doing their exit too early. And I want to know your view about it.
In my language, it's called, let me see if you can say that. In my language, that's called premature ejaculation. And I can help anybody, not here, but talking to individuals. I can help any guy who is suffering from that sexual disorder. So I would say, watch out. You have to use your brain, and that it's not just between the waist and the knees. But if this kind of exit makes people smile, because then they think about what they might do if they have a partner, what they might do tonight after this meeting.
So do you think this is a national problem, or it just belongs to the high-tech sector, or how would you?
I tell you what, I'll do a little research. You are going to be my first subject. I'm going to find out if that is only here or if it's only with younger people. I have to tell you, Yossi, older people don't have that problem. It's only young people. And I can, if they have that problem, I can help them.
Now, before we would like to give some people the chance to ask questions. The production, can you prepare some roving microphone for 2 or 3 questions? Before that, I have really to ask you, what is the formula? What is the source of this vitality and energy and joy that you are projecting at this stage of your life?
So what I told you before, that I have an obligation to make a dent in the world, I also I have a tremendous amount of joie de vivre, and I have that ability of saying, let's do something, let me do something new every single day. And I think that that's a formula that anybody can do. It has nothing to do with where you live. And I do believe that in terms of the future, that's something that we have to teach people. I, for example, don't associate with people who say, I'm tired. If somebody says, I'm tired, I say, go home and rest. I find somebody else. And I think it has to do with the philosophy of life, of learning something and of doing something that you enjoy and that you can learn something new.
That's very nice. And what is your horizon of making programs? You have programs for this year's plans. How long into the future you are making plans?
Until the day I die. Not yet.
Not yet. Tomorrow will be better or will not be better? What do you think?
I think in some areas there's no question. Look how many tourists are this year in Israel. I'm smiling every single day about the traffic. I don't complain about the traffic. I say how wonderful. Look, we have to have peace. And your generation and the next one.
She said we have to have peace and you are staying silent. What's going on with you?
Because when you have an outlook on life that's positive, then even problems can be solved.
Dr. Ruth, you are really a great inspiration and not necessarily only in your area of expertise.